This is the Gutenberg web design class, Gutenberg web design class, Gutenberg web design class. I am saving the questions that y'all are posting if we don't answer them, such as how to create a subdomain name video, e-commerce, because we're going to be covering another course on e-commerce, specifically just e-commerce. Okay. If you have any questions, use that form to drop them. As we're building this site out, we're going to take it nice and slow. Me and Brian will be communicating back and forth. And then on top of it, you got questions, drop them in there. Brian and me will answer them. Friday, the last day, the 5th day, will likely just be sure question and answers. Okay. All right. Good to go. Let me go ahead and open up the website and I'll get it pulled up. Yesterday, we had pretty much the header, showed you how to install WordPress, set up a subdomain name, set up the header, set up the footer and the body. Today's going to be now how do we put the guts in, or if you will, the meat in between the bread. You know, so that's what we're going to kind of be going after today. I'm going to at least try to get the home page set up. He's got all the content. He's going to show you where he gets the pictures or images from. You get it from Canva, correct? From Canva, and we'll go from there. So let me pull up everything and we'll get this thing rocking. It's used to be, I believe this is one of our rank and rents that we're working on. So you'll get to see how we put together an actual rank and rent. It's not the typical JK job killer looking website, which pretty much is just a bunch of stuff thrown on the home page with a form. It's an actual website. So let's get it going. All right, Brian, I'm going to enable you to share your screen and let you go ahead and do that as well. Give me 1 second. All right, you're good to go, Brian. You want to share your screen and I'll control the questions and all that jazz. So if you could just show them the home page, show them the front first. So we already got yesterday we got the home page set up. We set up the home page, and I just want to show you what it actually looks like without any, if you will, content. So we have the logo up top left. We got our button top right. It pops out at us, but it doesn't have a phone number on it because they don't have a phone number yet. Because once again, this is a rank and rent. The map in the bottom is not their Google map. That is a map of Mesa, Arizona. Okay. Normally, we would not put a map in the footer as the GMB. As the map of the area, totally different. We got the pages already, you know, blank pages made out, the about us, services, service areas, contact us. In the footer, you're going to see the social icons, the logo, the services they're offering, which is junk removal, furniture removal, appliance removal, hoarding services, scrap metal, home clean outs, construction, debris removal, and mattress removal. Okay. And so now what we're going to do, we're going to, okay, how do we lay out the home page? So if we want to build out the home page and put sections in it and columns in it and lay out images and text, that's what we're going to be going over today. So go ahead and you can proceed and edit. So this is the back end of Gutenberg, right? The plus sign is where you can browse. Slow it down just a tad bit, Brian. Where you could browse, let's say if you wanted to add an image, if you want to add text, audio, paragraphs, quotes, or if you want to do hard code, add a gallery, YouTube videos, buttons, everything. Right, so he's going to put in a cover being, for example, what we call the hero section, like we discussed yesterday, or what people call a header or a banner. He's getting these images from Canva, right? So this is just a junk removal. It's a junk removal bin, and we're going to be using that as a header. And he's just downloading it right now, and he's going to optimize it and everything once we upload it. As we're building out the site, we're going to be optimizing it because for page speed and the core vitals, because we don't want towards the end, we get towards the end and then we got to redo a whole ton of stuff. We just want to have to tweak some things. That's about it. So next thing he's going to want to put is we want a header. We want to use an H1 header, not an H2. So we're going to switch over to H1, which is just right there. And whenever he goes to type it in, he's going to line it in the center. And then he's going to choose, okay, for this is going to be Mesa Junk Removal, or message, in this case, Mesa Junk Removal Company. And one of the hard things about putting text, if you will, over an image is sometimes that text will not match. It'll be basically really hard to read. So what you want to do is try to choose a photo, right, that you can see the text over, change the color of the text. Okay, and once we do that, you know, in this same section, we're going to add some subtext. Okay, and we're using the subtext. We already have all the content and everything written up and wrote, so it's going to be a little bit easier if you don't have the content and everything. Rather than what we do, we already have the content. He's going to make a call to action button, because we don't want just a banner with an H1. We want a call to action. Okay, so that's what he's in the middle of doing, and it's simply with the plus sign choosing the button and then aligning it in the center. It's not, you know, this is just typical. It's a little bit different than Elementor. Some things that seem a little bit harder, mainly because in Elementor everything's drag and drop. There are some builders and blocks you can get with, you know, Gutenberg, but that tends to make, like I said before, the site code heavy. And when you make a site code heavy, it's going to wind up slowing down your core vitals, which, you know, and I don't care what anybody says, your core vitals does matter. Your page speed, they will use semantic terms and tell you page speed is not a ranking factor. It's a filter. Well, what does a filter mean? A filter means whether or not something shows up or not. If I did a filter in a spreadsheet or a filter in a search term, it means what makes something show up or not, right? So now we're creating another section, and let's say on that section we want to hate, you know, an H2, not an H1. And in that H2 section, we're going to talk about junk removal service, right? And then we're going to start, he's going to literally copy and paste his block. And then in this section, he wants to add, let's say, some text. And in the right-hand section, what we normally do is we'll put text and then we'll put a image, right? So what we're going to want to do is he's going to have text on the left and image on the right. Sometimes he'll switch, you know, both. Image file, no, we do some other things. If you're talking about for our image SEO, Danny, no, we do on-page SEOs after we built the site. So for example, we'll go in there and we'll actually put latitude and longitude and do actual SEO for the images. I prefer my web guys to be web and my SEO guys to be the best SEO guys. I don't want, and I know some people say, well, you could build a website and be an SEO expert at the same time. Nope. I hate to say you can't. I don't think you can, at least not from my point of view. I've seen too many people try to do it, and what winds up happening is, even with me, I got 20 years experience and I can do SEO as far as and website design, but it's still a lot easier for me to do it after the fact. Just saying. And on top of it, when we're building 300 plus sites a month, it's a little bit hard to throw SEO and web design in there at one time. So My SEO guys, technical SEO, they'll do all that after the fact when it comes to image optimization, etc. You know, and that's just one aspect. We don't use a whole lot of plugins either, so to do anything, we'll use, I would say, maybe 6 to 7 plugins in specific. No, we don't use image compression. There's, generally speaking, we don't have to use image compression when we're done with what we've got to do. By the time you're done, you'll see. But overall, we don't have to. I mean, sometimes we'll use WordPress Rocket, very rarely. NitroPack, whenever we're doing an Elementor site. NitroPack I can install pretty much on any website, and there'll be at least a B+, if not an A, on GT metrics. But when it comes to core vitals, NitroPack's not going to help your ass at all. So as you can tell, we're just entering, Brian's just entering in different blocks. You got a block for text, you got a block for an image. It's just a section. Think of blocks as just sections. It's like taking Legos and just stacking them. It's just like building a house. Or am I going to cover how to do SEO on this website in a later section? No. This is not an SEO class. This is just build a website class. SEO class is what I'm doing in Google My Business Reloaded. And the Reloaded class this time around is actually a lot different than the first one. The first one, we didn't do a lot of what we're doing now. And on top of it, this client, I didn't know this when he won the free SEO, but he didn't have a website. So I had to build the website, build out the content, and you're literally seeing the whole process. That's why it's going to take longer as well. So I'm building this thing as if he had nothing, and I'm going to build it exactly the way I would want it for SEO. All right. Not all sites we do the SEO on, but we'll do the basics at least whenever it comes to a web build. By the time we're done, I mean, when I say basics, I mean like image, page speed, headers, H1, H2, you got your keywords in there, you got your GMAP embedded, stuff like that. All right, and I believe this is Kevin. As an agency with Astra Pro, can we use that on our client sites, or do they need to buy it themselves? It depends on how many licenses you get with Astra Pro. So with Astra Pro, and I'll pull it up, but with Astra Pro, you can get multiple licenses. I don't think it's really that necessary per se, but I'm not going to tell you not to do it either. The Astra Pro gives you multiple things like it gives you starter templates, the portfolio plugins. It gives you Elementor add-ons and Beaver add-ons if you want. I would never add those in there at all whatsoever. Just me. The growth bundle is $249, and I use them across multiple websites. Now, if the client's going to want access to their actual license, then yeah, they're going to have to buy the license or you're going to have to put that into your build. Okay. So we always want a form on the home page, no matter if the client says so or not. I usually will always put a form on the home page. So form is just going to be, hey, what's their first name, last name, email, message. We want to add in their phone number field as well. We want to make it all required. So that's what he's doing right now. Make them required and then add in the phone number section. And it's pretty simple, easy deasy. Is it going to be in the UK or US? This one's in the US. So go back up there and choose the US, Brian. And that's just saying, hey, it's an automatic. If, I was in the UK, I would choose UK or whatever country you're in. And then he's just building it out. It's pretty straightforward. It's just blocks. And you have, when you hit the plus sign, you get to choose what you want, what colors you want, what colors your buttons are going to be. Let's see here, Astra Pro. So if you were to look at, just for example, Astra Pro versus free. So on the free, you don't get support, you don't get the updates, you don't get the CSS file generation for speed optimization. You cannot white label it. You don't have the background styling, you don't have the sidebar, you don't have a lot of shit. Okay, you don't have the site layouts. On the Pro, you get all of it plus some. You get the footer elements. I mean, just everything in the short codes, WooCommerce, Learn Dash, LMS programs. I mean, it's just a lot. It's, it's more than enough for anybody. The only time I would tell you that personally, I would tell you to go ahead and get multiple licenses is if each client wants their own license, then you're going to have to get your own license. Okay. And then I would build that into my platform. So now we've already started, if you will, the services page. So he's, not services page, but he's already dropping in the services at the bottom. And in this is where we're going to take literally all the services about junk removal and create sections. We're going to create sections. Usually we're going to upload an image. We're going to have a header, and then we're going to have some summary text sometimes no. Okay. GMB map, when I say a GMB map does not have to be on the footer, okay? What is on the footer right now is a GMB map, but it's of that specific city. It's not his actual GMB because, once again, this is a rank and rent. Not all rank and rent people we deal with actually already have their GMB. If they don't have a GMB, they have to work at getting a GMB, buy a method to get a GMB, or get a postcard to get a GMB. But if they have a GMB, the GMB I would put on the home page, just not in the footer, because the footer is going to be site wide. And then I would also put that GMB on the contact us page. Okay. Right now it's just showing you different types of layouts. You can choose square, rounded corners, circles, oval. There's just multiple different ways of actually making these circles. Okay. And now he's putting in a header, and we're not ever going to put in an H1 multiple times. Then we'll do an H2, and then a lot of times we'll do H3, H4. It just depends on honestly what we want, where we're at on the page. But usually one H1 on the very top, and then H2s, and then the rest is going to be H3s. We're going to stack the information, if you will. How do I determine how I'm going to structure my site? The layout, homepage, mixing up the sections, blocks, taking consideration. The customer experience and conversion. All right. So one of the things, I mean, this might sound wrong, but okay. So whenever and I don't know if I've shown you all this, have you seen I have an onboarding form. So in that onboarding form, one of the things I ask everybody is, give me 3 sites you like and why. Because if you run an agency, you know what you have in your mind and what they have in their mind are almost always going to be totally different sides of the coin. And so what I have to do is I have to balance what I want and what I know is good and what they want. Okay. The other thing is, if I was to tell someone, for example, if I'm going to set up a site and it comes to conversion rate optimization and stuff, the biggest one I'm going to tell you is going to be the sticky header. Do you have buttons and call to actions throughout the page, or are you just going to put one call to action? I prefer information, call to action, information, call to action, forms, phone numbers, stuff like that. Now, when it comes to increasing their conversion rate, one of the best things, or one of the things I generally tell people, even in my agency class, is what is your hook? What is your story? What is your offer? Hook, bait, story, offer. Hook, bait, story, offer. I cannot be responsible for their hook. I can't be responsible for their story, nor their offer, or any of that. That is up to them. I could guide them. I can tell them where to get information. I can give you examples of sites, how I like. In other words, do you got tripwire? Do you have a lead magnet? If that's an audit, if this is, let's say if you're a roofer and you come up with a PDF that says the 10 things that, that could save you tens of thousands of dollars before hiring, your next roofing company or something like that, that will increase your CRO instead of just having, hey, here I am, I'm just like every other, roofer out there. So I don't necessarily lay out, if you will, a storyline, because most of our clients, they want it done their way or the highway. The main thing I'm going to be concerned about is going to be rankings. And then once I get those rankings, if I don't see the conversions happening the way I want those conversions to happen, then I can give them a different take and say, hey, now we got your rankings. How about we increase the conversions? And we can increase the conversions by maybe doing this or maybe doing that. And then some people will tell you, listen, I don't even want a form on my site. I just want them to call me, because the biggest thing is people want is calls. Then I got other people say, listen, I don't even want my phone number on there. All I want is orders or forms filled out. So I hope that answers your question, Danny. So right now he's just literally taking each section and he's adding in the H3 headers, he's adding in the subtext, he's adding in the main, of course, the main header, he's adding in. These are just sample images right now, furniture being removed and junk removal. And each section will have its own image, right? Once we're actually done, we SEO optimize the whole thing. Everything will have latitude and longitude in the images. When we actually do the actual technical SEO aspect of it, and I'm optimizing it for Meza. Can my GMB verification method be used to get GMBs to use in rank and rent? Yes, it can. Can I talk about it? No, I can't. I have a SOP. I have a standard operating procedure. It is not my own GMB verification method. I've said that to several people. It is a verification method that I have. It's not my own. Have I tested it? I know I've tested it over and over and over again. It definitely works. It's about a 17-step process, but even at 17 steps, it's like what type of citations you get, where are you placing them, what are you doing with them. It does not involve scraping for expired domain names. It does not involve recreating a website. It does not involve any of that craziness. So it takes me about 5 to 6 days to have a GMB done. You still are going to have to stay out of the spammy niches, but even then you might be able to still get them. I'm not going to say you can't get them. You're just not going to be able to go in there guns blazing and get a bunch of plumbing or locksmiths. Okay. It is a one-time fee of $1,000. And anybody knows anything about GMBs go for anywhere from $180 to $400 and $500 per GMB right now. So we're going to be designing the columns for services eventually, but right now, and he's going to do it. It's all in CSS. So that code, I'm going to have Brian, he will give me the code for you, and we'll have that in the back end as well. Okay. But that part's going to actually be an additional CSS. It's not something you have to use, but if you want to, you can use it. Also, like I said before, once we're done, I'm going to give you an actual template that you can actually use. So, and it's going to have a home page, it's going to have a inner page and a contact us page. That way you could literally take this, migrate it, import it in, and then create your own website and just tweak things, change colors, change layout, stuff like that. Okay. When it's for a rank and rent, this is what he's typically doing. He's putting a background color or he's making a border. This is all done, if you will, in CSS. Okay. This is another area where it's going to be different than your standard, if you will, block builders or Elementor or Divi. You're going to have to do a little bit of work, but when you have someone that can help you, a lot of times this makes it very easy. And like I said, Gutenberg does have some blocks you can use, but it just makes it a little bit more code heavy. And we don't want that. We're trying to make a light website. Okay, light being it loads fast. Google loves it. It's easy to read, you know. And when we build a site, a lot of times I've had people go, "Oh my God, I don't like this," and then I have other ones that are like, "Oh, it's amazing." We build our sites based off of what our clients like. So our clients will show us 3 sites they like, and on the onboarding form it says, "Tell me, what do you like about these sites? Is it the flow? Is it the colors? Is it the look of the site? What is it?" And then based off of that, we build the website for them. You know, how and why is this rank and rent website different from an SEO client site like SOD installation? What do you mean? I mean, it's not quote unquote different in the sense that you're still building it the way they want. I mean, if you're talking about what I said earlier, when it's talking about conversions has to do with their offer. What are you offering somebody? Same thing I teach in my agency class. Don't just come out there and say, "Hey, I'm the junk removal person." How are you different than every other junk removal person? If you want to increase your conversion rates, you're going to have to build a brand, a story, and then you're going to have to set yourself up different than everybody else. So, and generally, I will tell you to do that with Tripwire, which is an offer, a PDF, a free report, something of that nature. It's not necessarily just going to be, about your services. In this case, we're just doing it with the services. If you have any questions, just put them up and I will answer them as Brian's building this out. So if you have any questions, you need him to redo something so you could see it again or anything like that, just drop the question and we will gladly go through it and we'll recover things if we're needed. But just drop it in as a live, on your questions. That's why y'all are here live, so we can actually have some questions and then we could help clarify anything that you may or may not understand. So a hook story offer, I'm not talking about rank and rent. I'm just saying in general. Said this is a rank and rent website. It didn't say it was different than your average SEO client. Rank and rents do tend to be different in the sense that sometimes they don't want forms, they want phone calls. Because the whole point of a rank and rent is how many leads I can send to somebody. Hook story offer. So think of it this way. A lot of people just go, "Hey, I'm a roofer." But okay, you're a roofer. How are you different than every other roofer? What's your story? What's your storyline? What's your offer? Are you trying to help people or are you just about me, and my business? Are you going to line it up so you're actually helping them before you're trying to ask for money? That's why I say do Tripwire or free reports and that nature. And if you're in my agency class, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Do your graphics says, I have a client who has an existing site with poor structure. How long does it take for us to build a site if you were to purchase a web design? Generally about 3 to 4 weeks, because we got about 300 to 400 websites we build out every month. If I didn't have 300 to 400 websites we build out every month, it takes us a few days, but 3 to 4 weeks. If it's a, your standard service site like this, 3 to 4 weeks. If it's a realtor and they have IDX and MLS and that sort of thing, it'll take at least a month. If it's an e-commerce site, we really don't touch too many of those. E-commerce sites tend to take much longer. Being, for example, how many products, how many variations, that sort of thing. So yeah, One Healthy Home, you want me to take a look at that website? I'm actually going to be auditing that probably tomorrow. I actually have a couple of your sites I think you sent me over to audit. I've already done 2 audits today, so the rest I have probably 20 something audits to go through. And I'll do those over a week's time, but that's another thing. I mean, even in this, if y'all ever want some ideas of how to quote unquote create some leads for yourself, do free audits for website design, free audits on conversion rate, free audits on SEO, free audits for lead generation. There's a lot of different things you can do to fill up your sales funnel. Okay, Danny goes, I'm going to redo this initial site. It's a Thrive theme and build a landing page in Gutenberg. Yep. And that's I mean, to me, that's perfect for what you're wanting to do. It's perfect, at least try it, try one. Your designer didn't add the click above the fold. Yeah. I would redo it. Redo that, Danny, and just do one page and then see what it does in Gutenberg. And you'll be surprised. Without a GMB rank and rent website, where do you rank it? Well, most people think rank and rent is just GMB. Well, if I'm ranked in organic, it's still ranked and it's still going to get leads and it's still going to get calls. Right? So even with rank and rent, you want to be ranked in the GMB and you still want to be ranked organically. I have a lot of people that will actually think, well, if I have a GMB, I don't need to be ranked organically. And that's the biggest farce I've ever heard, because if you're not ranked organically, you're leaving money on the table, really. You're spelling mattress wrong is all. There you go. Yeah, Williams got it. Danny says you're a speed builder, Brian. Brian's been with me for 6 months. When he first started, he came here to do, I think you were doing content. Yeah, backlinks. And he told me this is boring. And so let's try him. We tried him out on web design. And I think he took him maybe 2 or 3 days to build one website. And I asked him, I was like, who built this? I didn't know he built it. And then once he showed it to me, I was like, yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and put you on some web design. And then I'm pretty sure he close to 10 sites a week now is what he'll build out. I'm looking over to him because he's working, but probably 10 sites a week is what my average web designers build. We'll build out at least 10 sites a week or so. So are the Canva images available? Yes, those are, it's Canva Pro, Patrick. There are other platforms, I mean, you can use for your images. I use also Dreamstime, DreamsTime.com. I use them as well. Yep. You want to send it to me? I'll run the lighthouse on it. So he built out this page, and basically what we're wanting to check, we're going to go ahead and check the lighthouse score on it, just to see where it's at. He's going to send that over to me, and then I'm going to check it out and see real quick on the non-extension side. Let me go ahead and let me take over the screen so I can show them this real quick. Yep, that's cool. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, this is without touching anything or anything like that. So we're going to take this and we're going to do it in an incognito window. All right, incognito. Yep, I don't see it. Where's the home page? Because I'm still seeing just the header footer. It's a cache delay. Okay. Might not build. Yeah, there we go. Control F5 would help you out. But that took him, let's say 30 minutes or so. You know, the whole point of this is we had the content and everything. Let's go ahead and hit inspect, or if you will, inspect this. All right, let's pull. Okay, there we go. Pull this over here. Run the report. And just basic without touching nothing or anything like this. But what you'll have to do, and we'll go over this towards the end of the week, there are sometimes you have to go in and edit some things, tweak some things, and get it to go faster and make it look prettier. Like right now it's at 58, 98, 93, 86. But what will happen is we'll go back through it and do some more optimizations and whatnot. But we already got our accessibility up to 98. Our best practice is at 93. SEO is at an 86. Once we go in there and do our interlinking and everything else, it'll be right around 100 or so. But this is where we're at just right now. And these issues like this, you know, we'll go in here and fix it. Basically, it's literally just because of these two issues. Yeah, on top of it, it's probably the cache delay. Once we go through all that, we'll rerun it or whatever. But yeah, because it's not showing the whole page, and we got to wait for the cache to go through it all. But let's try to rerun it again. But if anything, I'll rerun it tomorrow after the cache and all that, because it's kind of difficult to do it whenever you're trying to do it live. But try it one more time without the cache delay. See if the cache is picking it up yet. See, and so now after the cache has picked it up, we're already at 86, 100, and 98 at 84. So if this was in Elementor, it'd be around a 30. Let's try it again. Let's try to force the cache, see if it's even more so. Let's get it done loading. It's done loading. Let's hit inspect. Lighthouse, run the generate the report again. And this is just the home page. So today's the home page. We're going to wind up doing the inner page tomorrow. See, more and more we're waiting on the cache, the higher and higher the scores get. 86, 198, 89. So what'll happen is the score will keep going higher and higher and higher. But it's, as you can see, just with doing Gutenberg and the layout and everything, we're using forms, we're using some CSS, and it's, you know, there are things you have to keep in mind whenever you're trying to do a site for speed. Is you don't want to put, for example, I don't want to put up at the very top, I don't want to have in my hero section a nice little YouTube video or a video hosted on my own hosting and website, because that's going to slow your first colorful paint down. And then when that happens, it's going to slow down your crawl and it's going to slow down the bots. So any other questions? So that's the home page. We're going to be working on the inner page tomorrow. And if you have any more questions, drop them. Now y'all can drop them in the chat, okay? Now that I've went through all this, all the questions, I can keep track of them. But if y'all have any questions, drop them in the chat and I will answer them. If not, I will see you guys later. Okay, let me know, because we're about to get off here if you don't. Do we need a separate form builder? No, it comes with its own form builder. The CSS, I will be dropping that in the back end once we're done. And that's just for those sections to use for the background image, stuff like that. And honestly, you don't even need that, because once I give you the template, you'll have it. Drop it like it's hot. Access for the SOP for the web builder or layout and website is actually in the back end of day one. If you don't have it, email me and I will give it over to you. We have Astra Pro. Yes, we have Astra Pro and we install it on every single site. I will see if I can have, I'm gonna have one of my guys make a video of that for you. I need a video showing how to make a subdomain for staging and how to install WordPress. Brian's going to make that, whip that one up for y'all, and then we'll put that in the group, and then will put it in the back end of this class as well. How often do I use my GMB verification method? I don't. I do them enough just to, I did it enough to say I tested it. I built out 10 or 20 of these things and I know it works. And then I say, cool, it works. Hey, y'all want it? Sell it to y'all. Why? Because I don't want to sit here and have to build them all out, because most of the time, and this is what happens to me all the damn time, someone goes, oh, you do GMBs. I want to order 50 of them. I want to order like 20 or 30 a month, and I don't have that kind of time. I'd rather do classes and help business owners. So your Astra Pro, the bundle is $169. The just standard is $47, and that's an annual fee. If you get the lifetime Astra Pro is $249. Essential bundles $499. And you want a video of WordPress, Stripe subscriptions and plugins so you can get money from your clients. That's going to be on e-commerce, buddy. It's not that simple. That alone will take me an hour to teach you. Just how to add WooCommerce, how to set up that, how to set up the subscriptions, how to then have it on either monthly plan and everything else. That's about an hour class in and of itself. Okay. But we will definitely be doing that later. Did I cover loading Astra Pro and any settings? Yes, that was in the first class. We're not using the Astra Child theme. We don't use that whatsoever. Like I said, what we do is we go, give me 3 sites you like and why. And based off of that information, we build our own, if you will, layout or template on Astra with Gutenberg. The Astra Pro is $47. That's a, annual fee. You're going to pay that once a year, every year. And if you want the lifetime, it's $249. Ecom site class, I don't know yet. It's probably going to be after this one in a couple of weeks. I'm trying not to kill myself with all these classes y'all ask for. How do I get money? How do I get money from clients without knowing how to set up Stripe subscriptions and the other plugins? I'll show you. All right, you guys, I will talk to y'all soon, and it's been good, and I will see y'all again tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to be doing an inner page or service page, okay? Thank you, guys. Y'all be blessed.